Hey Falcon fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome to Atlanta Falcons today. We have kind of a unique video today, and I want you guys to bear with me on this one because you probably read the title and you said, trading Matt Ryan, like that's ridiculous. I know, I agree, but I'll give you some destinations because there are some rumors that it might happen this offseason. First though, mailbag video coming up later on this week. You must be a subscriber in order to get in on the mailbag video, and so be a subscriber, hit the red button, and then also go in the comment section and ask your question using the hashtag Falcons to begin your question. That way I can find it down below when I pull these for a mailbag video later on this week. Again, down below, hashtag Falcons, be a subscriber, and be a part of the mailbag video in a couple of days. All right, so as the title mentioned, we're talking about Matt Ryan trade destinations on today's video. And you're probably saying, Thomas, why are we talking about Matt Ryan trade destinations? There's still 2 weeks left in the NFL season, and Matt Ryan's not going to be traded. And I would say, yeah, I don't think that he's going to, right? If you're going to make me bet money on if he's traded or not this offseason, I'd say no. But I'm not saying it's a 99% chance they don't trade him. I think it's a 70% chance they don't and a 30% chance they do, because there are some rumblings. We talked about them yesterday on the channel about, unnamed execs and NFL people in the front offices saying that it might be a possibility for Atlanta and some other teams. This all came from an Athletic piece. Mike Sando had this one talking to an unnamed NFL exec. We'll just refresh you on this one here quickly. Quote, Matt Ryan is a name that would intrigue me. An exec from a team that has researched the quarterback market said, you are rebuilding in Atlanta. If you can get a decent package for Matt Ryan, do you do it? He's a Pennsylvania guy, albeit from Philly. Falcons would save cash. That one is interesting. You'd probably get 3 or 4 years if you are Pittsburgh. I don't see Tomlin as a blow-it-up, total rebuild type, end quote. Again, it's from The Athletic talking about Matt Ryan to Pittsburgh, but it goes into the fact that obviously Matt Ryan could be a trade target and a trade destination for a team that needs a quarterback, which, again, I wouldn't do. I think Atlanta can rebuild with him at quarterback, but there is the case that you get a draft pick, save a little bit of money, and kind of restart with Arthur Smith's guy, because Arthur Smith could draft his quarterback here in year 2. Obviously, there are some options to draft with. You can talk about Kenny Pickett there in the first round, Matt Corral as well. Carson Strong will work his way up there, Malik Willis out of Liberty, and there are a lot of other names that can work their way into potentially being a Falcon future quarterback if they were to go the route of getting rid of Matt Ryan. I'll get into my top 5 destinations from 5 down to 1 in a second. During the ad break, pin comment down below, would you trade away Matt Ryan for a first-round draft pick? Like right now, straight up. If a team offered you a first-round draft pick, take the contract, and give you the pick, would you trade Matt Ryan? Let me know down below right now. All right, so I'm going to go in order from least likely to most likely, in my opinion, 5 all the way down to 1. So we'll start with the least likely team and give you 4 reasons why this team might make sense, starting with the Carolina Panthers, who obviously need a quarterback and will be in the market for one. Now, I don't know if the Falcons would trade him within the division. I think that's one of the reasons why this is, 5th on my list. But if you go through the reasons why, and I gave you 4 right here, 1, they need a quarterback. Like Carolina has to take a quarterback either in the draft or get one in free agency or trade for Deshaun Watson, for instance, which they thought apparently looked into doing this offseason. They do have a lot of money, $28 million in cap space as of right now in 2022. They will have a top 10 draft pick in 2022 as well, and they seem to be the only really team currently in the top 10 right now that would have to take a quarterback. If you're thinking about it, they need somebody. They don't have anybody on there minus Sam Darnold, and they're not keeping Cam Newton. And also Matt Rule, the quarterback, former Baylor head coach, he needs to win now. Like if they keep him for another year, he's got to win. They don't know if they have time to go ahead and rebuild with a brand new draft quarterback, and so bringing in Matt Ryan around, Christian McCaffrey and some weapons on the outside, DJ Moore, I think could be a decent fit there. Again, I don't think this is where he would go. I think Carolina, the Falcons wouldn't trade him there. But again, Carolina has to make the list because they do need a quarterback. All right, we'll get into number 4 on the list here in just 1 second. First, quick shout out to our sponsor for today's video and our friends at BetUS, my go-to betting website, and I've done it all year to bet on and for and maybe against the Atlanta Falcons. JustSports.com/BetFalcons. That promo code Falcons125. Get that 125% deposit bonus whenever you first sign up and bet on my bets of the week. Let's take a look at them here. We'll go Cardinals plus 5.5 at the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys are flying high right now. Cardinals are desperate. They need a win to keep pace in the NFC West. I think the Cardinals are going to at least cover in this one. Hey, the Eagles minus 3.5 at Washington. It's going to be a tough game for Philadelphia, but they're trying to lock up their playoff spot. I think they get it done there. Tennessee minus 3.5 versus the Dolphins. The Dolphins, I appreciate what they've done, going from 1-7 to actually being in the playoff hunt, but the offense is not good. I think Tennessee is going to be able to pull this one out by more than 3.5. Texans will lose at the 49ers, but they will cover. Plus 13 is the number right here. Niners going to be playing Trey Lance. You don't know if that's going to be good or bad yet because he hasn't played a lot this year. Give me the Texans to cover in that one. And find the Packers minus 7 versus the Vikings. They eliminated the Vikings for the playoffs, and they lock up that number 1 seed. And the Green Bay Packers do it at home in frozen Lambeau Field. Minus 7 is the point spread there. Chatsports.com/BetFalcons. Again, promo code Falcons125. You guys want to bet on any of these games. All right, number 4. Again, not that likely, but still makes the list, is the New York Football Giants. You say, Thomas, the Giants have Daniel Jones. Yeah, but do they like Daniel Jones? And I think a similar situation to Matt Rule and the Carolina Panthers, Joe Judge has to win, right? Like, if the Giants struggle next year, Joe Judge gets fired. And so from a Joe Judge perspective, are you sold on Daniel Jones? Do you want to roll with Daniel Jones? Or do you want to go ahead and make a trade for Matt Ryan, who potentially can make that offense, Saquon Barkley, weapons on the outside? I mean, they have a lot of weapons on the outside, a lot better than advertised. Now, not a lot of money in free cap space. That'll cause some issues there. Not sure how they'd make the money work with Matt Ryan, but they do have 2 first-round draft picks in 2022 and a lot inside the first 3 rounds. And so, trading away a pick would be a lot easier for a team like New York versus a team like the Carolina Panthers. Now, is quarterback the biggest offseason need for the Falcons? If not, what is? What do you think the biggest offseason need for the Falcons is this season? Let me know down below in the comments section. Pass rusher is mine, but you got to figure out the quarterback situation going forward, whether you just confirm Matt Ryan's the guy, trade him away, draft somebody, who knows? What's the biggest offseason need for the Falcons? Let me know down below. All right, top 3 here. Let's go ahead and get into, again, the 3 most likely trade destinations, and number 3 is the Denver Broncos. Denver makes a ton of sense that they will at least get a quarterback this offseason, whether it's trading for Russell Wilson, whether it's signing Aaron Rodgers, whether it's drafting a quarterback, or trading for Matt Ryan. Obviously, Denver needs a veteran quarterback. Like, they have a ton of weapons. They have a young running back, good offensive line, great receivers on the outside. They have a great young defense. Like, everything is good in Denver minus the quarterback spot. And you see that when they're able to get 7 wins this year with Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback. They also have $50 million in cap space, so money is not an issue, and they have 5 picks in the first 3 rounds, thanks to the Von Miller trade earlier to the LA Rams. The Denver Broncos, to me, make a ton of sense, and I honestly think if you were to put Matt Ryan on the Broncos, they'd be a playoff team in the AFC. Very confident about that. And of course, if the Falcons do trade Matt Ryan or any sort of covers this offseason that involves craziness, we'll cover it here on the channel. And so it's kind of the reason to subscribe, right? If you want to be up to date on the latest Falcons stuff, we do it almost every single day here. 10-minute short video format, get you in and out, quick little work check, and then back to your desk job. We cover you here on the channel, so go down below and subscribe. All right, number 2, again, much like Denver, a team that needs a quarterback and yet seemingly can be very successful with one next year, the Washington football team, right? Taylor HEINICKE can only take you so far. I like Taylor HEINICKE. He's been a good story, but the Washington football team doesn't think that Taylor HEINICKE can lead them to a Super Bowl, right? They need a quarterback that can, and it feels like, much like the Denver Broncos, this team is a quarterback away, and so Matt Ryan makes a ton of sense. They also, much like the Denver Broncos, have a ton of cap space, $59 million in 2022, and so adding a guy like Matt Ryan, again, would not be that difficult with the contract. They also will have a top 15 pick in 2022, barring some sort of magical playoff run the final 2 weeks of the year here, and so that means all their picks, 2nd, 3rd, 4th round, will be towards the upper side of that draft spot. Again, I don't hate Taylor HEINICKE. I think he's a good quarterback, but do Washington fans really think that he can win the NFC East and lead them to a playoff spot and actually be, competitive in the postseason? I don't think so. I think they're going to get a new quarterback this offseason. All right, final spot, the most likely landing spot, and to me, the one that makes the most sense is the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, much like Denver and much like the Washington football team, to me, feel quarterback away. They have a great young defense. They have a lot of weapons on the outside. Najee Harris. They will probably draft offensive linemen this year to improve that front 5. Overall, it makes a ton of sense because Big Ben will retire after the season. Like, it's 100% guaranteed. There's no way he comes back, nor should Pittsburgh want him back because he's just too old and too injury prone and turnover prone, and the arm strength is an issue. All the issues we talked about, in the National Football League with Big Ben. They're also loaded with talent. And again, Matt Ryan goes to a spot that's plug and play ready for him to be around talented players. And the fact that he's got the Falcons to 7 wins this year with very little talent should tell you that if you're a Steeler fan, you can get him for, the ability to win games immediately. Now, they also have $43 million in cap space, and really, do they need to draft a quarterback? Because much like the idea of adding a quarterback doesn't mean that they win right now, Matt Ryan actually does. Big Ben, again, great quarterback, but he's going to retire, and so there's no real thought process there that, Big Ben might come back another year. I don't think Steelers fans want Big Ben to come back another year. I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers make the most sense here, along with Denver and the Washington football team, as being the top 3 trade destinations for Matt Ryan, if he were to be traded. Now, which of the 5 would make the most sense for Matt Ryan trade out of the ones I just mentioned? Carolina, New York, the Denver Broncos, Washington football team, or the Steelers? Let me know who you guys think down below right now. I think Denver and Pittsburgh make the most sense, but you mix in the Washington football team as well, and I'll see what you guys think down below in the comment section. Again, obviously, there's no guarantee that he is traded, but if he is, at any point, we'll cover it here on the channel. Mailbag video later on this week as we wrap up today's show. You can DM me your mailbag questions on Twitter at @RealThomasMott if you have one, and of course, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel because the only way to get in on our mailbag video or be a part of any future videos is to be a subscriber here. Now, 4,000 strong here on this channel. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. For Atlanta Falcons today, I'm Thomas Mott, signing off for the rest of your day.